Hello, my name is Dan and I'm with Droneblog. Today we'll be going over the best ND filters for GoPro cameras. We'll be looking at why professionals use ND filters and how to use ND filters with a GoPro. We will also be comparing different types of ND filters for GoPro to decide which type is best. ND filters are like sunglasses for a camera. They allow for longer exposures without overexposing the camera sensor. To manage exposure without an ND filter, the shutter speed can be increased or made faster. However, to maintain correct exposure in bright conditions, the shutter speed can be fast enough that footage from the camera becomes choppy because each frame is not exposed for long enough. Choppy footage is particularly noticeable when objects in footage are moving. Therefore, slowing shutter speed and using an ND filter helps maintain correct exposure and make motion in footage look smooth. However, too low shutter speed can introduce significant motion blur in footage. So how do we choose a shutter speed suitable for the frame rate and subject that we are filming with? There is a useful term in videography and cinematography known as shutter angle. Shutter angle comes from capturing footage on film, with film cameras having a shutter that rotates to expose each frame. The angle between openings on the shutter determines how long the film is exposed for. With newer cameras, we have a digital shutter, and this is a slightly older approach. Typically for natural motion blur, a 180-degree shutter angle is used. This equates to the shutter speed being twice the frame rate. For example, if filming at 24 frames per second, then at a 180-degree shutter angle, the shutter would be 1/48 seconds. 180-degree and 90-degree shutter angles work well with GoPro cameras, with 90-degree shutter angle being twice as fast a shutter speed as a 180-degree shutter angle. However, at lower frame rates, even 180-degree shutter angle can introduce too much motion blur when filming fast motion. Now, ND filters are typically tinted glass, usually sold in sets with various tints to suit a variety of conditions. I have a set here from Telesin that comes with 3 ND filters: ND8, ND16 and ND32. Increased tint corresponds to a higher ND filter value. Deciding which tint is suitable for correct exposure can take a bit of trial and error, but becomes easier with experience. For reference, on a bright day, ND16 or ND32 filters give good results with GoPro cameras. However, this will vary depending on frame rate and shutter angle. There are also a range of different types of ND filters available for GoPro cameras. There are ND filters that simply slide over the stock lens of a GoPro with a friction fit, like these Telesin filters. For example, slide simply over the top of the outer lens cover, like so. These are a cheap option to start using with your GoPro and are thus cheap to replace if they become damaged. However, a friction fit isn't the most secure option and the ND filter could be knocked off. There are also magnetic ND filters available. These are generally made for the Hero 8 camera. These claim to provide a more secure mounting than friction fit ND filters at a slightly higher cost. ND filters can also be used in place of the foremost lens on GoPro Hero 9, 10 and 11 cameras. The foremost lens of the GoPro camera can twist off and on. These are known as twist-on ND filters. For example, GoPro themselves sell Polar Pro ND filters with this twist-on mounting system. Other brands are also available. This is arguably the most secure mounting option for ND filters, but does mean the innermost lens of the GoPro is arguably less protected in comparison to using a friction fit or magnetic ND filter over the stock outer lens. So which type of ND filter is best? Considering that the force needed to dislodge a friction fit mount ND filter off a GoPro is quite reasonable, a friction fit ND filter set will work well for most people. I use friction fit ND filters on a GoPro on my FPV drones as well as on my helmet for mountain biking and motorcycling. In fact, I use these Telesin once quite regularly and I have done now for a few years. I'm yet to lose a friction fit ND filter in any of those scenarios. However, given that the availability and cost of some twist-on ND filters for newer GoPro cameras is comparable to these friction fit filters, twist-on ND filters are probably the best type of ND filter to use with a GoPro these days. There is also less risk of twist-on ND filters vibrating and causing problems with footage when compared to friction fit or magnetic ND filters. However, it's worth shopping around for twist-on ND filters. You could save some cash when compared to buying Polar Pro filters direct from GoPro. That's all for this video. If you find these types of video tutorials useful, please feel free to like and subscribe to our channel. For more tutorials and reviews, head to droneblog.com.